Welcome to the Stephen Mansfield audio podcast.
So I'd like to discuss something that I mentioned first in my last podcast. In that final presidential debate, the third presidential debate, Mr. Romney said something that I commented on last time. Got a lot of feedback from it, and I think it's important to explore it a little bit further. You know, sometimes in political rhetoric, you overstate, you say things you don't believe, you get caught up in the moment, and you exaggerate a bit. But then there are those statements that you make over and over and over, and they are coated with meaning, filled with meaning from your spiritual life, from your values. They portray, give a window into what you really believe if you are a candidate. Well, I believe that when Mr. Romney said in the final debate that America is the great hope of the world, he was saying a great deal. I've said it before in podcasts, and we all I think know it. Mr. Romney is a Mormon, and he believes that America has a special place in God's plan for the earth. He believes that the country was divinely ordained. Jesus walked this land, he believes, and Jesus will reign in the millennium from this land in part. America also will have a very redemptive and powerful rescuing role to fulfill in the final troubled days of history. And of course, the Mormons will play a central role in that. Now, that's what Mr. Romney believes. So when he says in a debate that America is the great hope of the world, it's coming from a religious base. It's coming from his own worldview. It's coming from his deep moorings in Mormonism. But I have to say, from a Christian perspective, and a lot of you who listen are Christians and or at least share a Christian worldview, and I have to say that from my perspective, this is the kind of idolatrous statement that has fed civil religion in America and does not help us. It doesn't help us because it's wrong. It doesn't help us because it expresses a certain amount of arrogance to the other nations of the world. And it doesn't help us because it's on the wrong spiritual and religious footing. From a Christian perspective, no nation is the great hope of the world. Jesus is the great hope of the world. Righteousness, faith is the great hope of the world. Justice and mercy are the great hope of the world. But you would never want to say that America is the great hope of the world. Now, I know that some of you are already squirming while you're listening to this because you hear me being unpatriotic. No, I love this country. I love it dearly. I want it to be a righteous country. I want it to be a great and a good country. In fact, I want to know it and love it and pray for it, but I also want to maintain enough prophetic distance to speak truth to it, to hold it accountable for its care for the poor, for the way it treats people of color, for the way it uses its military, for its taxation, the justice of its taxation system, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, this is what a great nation is. And somehow, maybe we, by we I mean conservatives and Christians, have gotten ourselves into a condition where we cannot say something about the United States of a negative nature without somehow being seen as unpatriotic or quote-unquote liberal. Well, no, we need to stand in the grand tradition of prophetic people and speak to exactly God's will, God's morals, God's ethics, a moral grid for the nation. The point is that we want to love our nation, embrace our nation, enjoy our nation, help build our nation, but a lot of our responsibility as people of faith is to maintain prophetic distance and not become idolatrously committed to any aspect of the nation. Because when we do that, we can't see what's true, we can't see what needs to be changed, we don't have the integrity to speak to the nation of what needs to be revised. I love the passage in Jonah 2:8 that says, those who cling to worthless idols forfeit the grace that could be theirs. America's not a worthless idol. America's a great nation. But the hope of the world? No. The hope for America is righteousness, is pleasing God, is fulfilling her destiny. And that's the hope for every nation in the world. And we're watching right now as other nations arise in the world, many of them on a more righteous basis than America is right now, and we need to take note. So is America great? Yes. God ordained? Yes. Intended to be used for great purposes in America? Yes. I mean, in the world? Yes, as it has been. However, to say that anything on earth is the great hope of the earth is to establish an idolatry we cannot live up to establish an idolatry that causes other nations to cringe and distance themselves from us, and it sets our hope and our faith in the wrong direction.
Stephen Mansfield is a New York Times best-selling author, a popular speaker, a frequent faith and culture commentator on Fox and CNN, and a blogger for a number of leading online news services. His groundbreaking books on faith and American society include The Faith of George W. Bush, The Faith of Barack Obama, The Mormonizing of America, and the soon-to-be-released Lincoln's Battle with God. You can learn more about Stephen at www.mansfieldgroup.com and connect with him on Facebook and on Twitter under the name Mansfield Writes. The Stephen Mansfield podcast is produced by Isaac Darnell for Chartwell Literary Group.